What's up, guys? By the time you see this, AGDQ will be just about over. I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Uh, kind of just, AGDQ's been a little bit of a staycation for me. Meaning, I have been making videos, but they've been even more low-key than usual. I think it's really helped me to regain some of my motivation to continue. Obviously, the computer problems still persist. I haven't been able to get over to the shop yet. Like I said, coordinating that is easier said than done, even if money was not an issue. But overall, I've enjoyed the event so far. I think they did a pretty good job of making a balanced schedule. There were definitely some flaws. I feel the genre diversity was a little sparse, a little weak this year. I think they're having growing pains. Obviously, the Games Done Quick marathons went from being in one of the founders' parents' house to a huge hotel with, they have like 1,000 people there right now. It's grown a lot in a very short amount of time. I've been to conventions that have been around longer, and they have not had that much exponential growth in such a short period of time. I think what they will need to do moving forward, at least what I would like them to do, is to give some lesser known games a chance. Before I get started, this is not a Salt video. Some of you may know I have submitted Sengoku Basara 3 and 4 to various GDQ marathons, and it's been rejected every time. But I'm too old for the Salt. I don't really care too much. Even if it did get in, it would be quite an ordeal for me to get there, just on the basis of how much money it costs. The Summer Games Done Quick events are always just like 2-3 months after I go on my vacation to Fanime in May, and I don't make enough money to fund both trips. I may be able to go to this year for Summer Games Done Quick, but it's kind of on the fence right now. But I think just in general, taking it away from me, they're going to need to let some newer games come in, newer speed games. I think this year, the growing pains have been pretty obvious. A lot of the big name stuff got cut. And the only reason for that was because they've done it so many times at this point. It's kind of a problem that's going on in the speedrun culture or sub-community right now, is a lot of the big popular games, the games that the big name, speedrunners stream and, they get a lot of money off of. A lot of those games are getting to the point where they're optimized down to, they have like a few seconds that they can cut off at tops. And I think ROM Scout and the other people, they're being very insightful, and they're noticing that, and they're doing their best to try to phase in some new games. When the full schedule came out, there was a lot of salt on Twitter as usual. I feel a lot of it was unwarranted. I mean, there's only so many times you can do the same game over and over. Obviously, there have been some pretty major exceptions to that. All the Ocarina of Time wrong warp stuff that was discovered about 2.5 years ago now, that obviously turned that game upside down. It changed pretty much all the categories, and it allowed them to have the game in the marathon for a little longer. But a lot of the other games, you can't really say that. Mario 64 is obviously one of the flagship speedrun titles, and that hasn't really made any, there haven't been any big changes. I think they've done some rerouting and stuff, but that game's all down to execution, and it's just that they don't have much to really show in those. I imagine they're going to rotate them in maybe every other year or something, but so far I like what they're doing. I've kind of felt a little too platformer heavy. Obviously, platformers are like the pinnacle of speedruns. That's where it all started. Metroid, way back in 1986, that was one of the very first games to actually encourage you to speedrun it. You got the different endings depending on how long it took you to finish the game. So it's always been the flagship genre for speedruns. There's been some more recent games. Most of it is, the older stuff that, gets a lot of popularity. But in the past couple years, we've seen some really great indie platformers that have kind of revitalize, that part of the speedrun culture. Guacamelee obviously is a really great Metroidvania. Really great movement. There's only like one auto scroller in the game. The combat is fun. And just recently, like last year, the game was broken to shreds, and you can wrong warp like all the way through the game and eliminate all the backtracking. There's stuff like Super House of Dead Ninjas, which I've covered. That game is not, it doesn't really have any crazy tricks aside from the scythe, but it's a really solid game. Shovel Knight, obviously. They got like 1.5 million submissions for Shovel Knight when that came out, and they actually had the developers on the other day, and they were saying, they during development they actually had speedrunners in mind, which is pretty cool. So I hope that in the future marathons, barring whatever it is that I submit, whether it gets in or not, I hope they continue to diversify things. I know a lot of people are getting really tired of the big name speedrun games, and like I said, the reason for that is just because they have not changed much. Some of them are in pretty perpetual states right now. Mario 64 especially. Ocarina of Time was, a lot of people said it was a dead speed game because Cosmo got the 1810, but Joden Stone improved that by like 3 seconds, and now I think the nail is in the coffin for that category. There's not really a whole lot else to be done there, and I think that's going to happen a lot moving forward, unless people try to branch out and play some other speedrun games. I mean, the whole thing about speedrunning is you push the games and yourself to their absolute limits, and a limit means there's a point where you can't grow anymore, and a lot of the big games are kind of getting to that point, and it's a shame, but I hope that they continue to have more diversity. One of the coolest things that happened this year, besides the marriage proposal, which is pretty touching, I actually watch Jackifer's stream sometimes. Vanquish got in. Vanquish, the guy who runs that, has been fighting to get that in for years now, and it was pretty touching when he got it in. He also has a pretty strange disability. He plays the game one-handed, but you couldn't tell unless someone told you or he has his camera on. I think it's pretty cool to see that they actually put that in. There was a lot of controversy. There was a Minecraft speedrun that was going to be done by Let's Players. Apparently they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and they weren't practicing, so they cut it, and he got it in at the last minute. Besides my bias, I hope to see more character action games and beat 'em ups in there. They had a really good beat 'em up lineup this year. They had Violent Storm, AVP 1994, and Streets of Rage 2. Violent Storm is not really a household name in the beat 'em up culture, but the other two games are. Those are, still a lot of people consider those the zenith of beat 'em up gameplay. Just overall refined mechanics. I would like to see them give character action games another chance. I think those are pretty interesting speed runs. It's just the problem. I think the reason why, I guess you could include Basar in this. The reason why they don't make it in that often is because there's often a really large discrepancy between playing a character action game stylishly and playing it for speed. Only the most balanced ones, like Bayonetta, you can still do some pretty stylish stuff in that in a speed run, but the world record of that game pretty much uses the fire Durga bombs and the Kilgore glitch the entire game. Both of those things pretty much remove all the style and finesse from the speed run, unfortunately. But I hope that they give those games another chance. I would like to see people pop up and try some new games. Maybe step out of their comfort zones a little bit. Like I said, all the major Nintendo titles are kind of reaching their zenith at this point. There's not a whole lot else to show, and there's really not much left to optimize. I think that their schedule this year, despite all the controversy, I think they did a pretty good job of diversifying things. I mean, there were plenty of times that I tuned out. The Fire Emblem speedrun was really not my cup of tea. Yoshi's Island and Zelda and stuff, I've seen those a million times, but they had a really nice variety of games that I think have a chance to become marathon staples, which is seems like what they're trying to do. They're trying to create new staples that they can fall back on for a couple of years because, Cyclemic barely speed runs anymore. Cosmo's been taking an extended break. He doesn't really seem to have any interest in retaking his Ocarina of Time 80% world record, which is probably a good thing for his sanity because there's probably only like a couple seconds to cut off that game at that point. But I think they did a pretty good job. I hope it's a good indication of them trying to address their growing pains by introducing some new titles. I think that will be good moving forward, even if the games don't have a huge household name or childhood nostalgia value. There's a lot of good speed games out there that get no love, and they're definitely going to need more variety moving forward. I think this year a lot of the controversy was just because people expect the same games to be speedran at these marathons forever, and it's just nothing lasts forever, even in speedruns. I mean, we've had crazy optimized world records get taken down by a couple seconds, and almost unbeatable. So I hope they do that moving forward. In terms of SGDQ, I'm not sure if I'm going to be going. I am going to be submitting the Basara games probably one last time. It's always a battle to get those in because obviously Sengoku Basara has only had 2 localizations, neither of which were advertised at all. Sengoku Basara 3 was localized as Sengoku Basara Samurai Heroes. They had a AAA voice cast in that game. The dub was great. The translation was great. They did an amazing job on it, but the marketing team just sent the game out to die. I remember I didn't even know that it was being localized until I randomly logged on the Koei Warriors front page one day and saw the trailer there. It's going to be hard to get those in, but I will try again. Thing I had in mind was I was thinking of running Kenshin still, but doing the story mode and just switching to him because the story mode would probably cut the time by, I haven't routed it yet. Obviously the computer problems have really prevented me from doing that kind of thing, but it would probably be anywhere from 10 to maybe 15-20 minutes shorter. That may give it a good chance of getting in. I was going to submit both, possibly Devil's Dare. We'll see how far that goes. I finished that game in about an hour, so that has a pretty good chance of getting in. The game is not broken at all. I was routing Rainblood Chronicles Mirage for a while, but I realized it was kind of pointless because that game is so buggy, and the development team abandoned it. So I don't really think it would be a good candidate for GDQ, just on the basis of all the random things that can go wrong. But I am going to try one last time. I have been in the speedrun community for a long time. I don't really have anything on SDA, but most of the speedruns that I've done are on this site. I was a pretty big Metroid speedrunner in high school. I did a lot of Mega Man X around that time too, but all my other speedruns are on here. So if you want to see some of the speedrun stuff that I've done, if you're a little tired of the big name stuff, you can go ahead and go on my channel and just type in the word speedrun, and you should find most of the stuff that I've done. So with that said, I'm going to sign off. I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. A lot of the people that are criticizing it haven't been around since the beginning. I think it's a little unfair to judge them on what they're doing now because they're obviously having growing pains. Like I said, those marathons used to be held in someone's house. They crammed like 3 dozen people in those houses and had the Domino's pizza guy, delivering pizza like 3 times a day and stuff like that. And now they're pretty much a full-blown nerd convention. So obviously, some difficult decisions have to be made once you get to that point. Any kind of business, once you grow it, you have to make some difficult decisions. I've done the same thing. I had my skepticism towards Samurai Warriors 4 when that came out, but I went ahead and took a risk anyway because I knew people were going to be expecting me to play it. I think it was pretty good for my channel. I did get a couple hundred subscribers off it, even though that game caused me so much stress and frustration and disappointment. But I hope moving forward that they continue to do what they're doing now, which is trying to phase in some new content. See you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. The marathon's going to be over by the time you see this, so I'm going to try to cram out some of that stuff that I promised, barring any computer issues, which would be Bazaar 4 footage and DW8 Empires. See you tomorrow. Peace.